Welcome to the first ever episode of the Mind Out Loud podcast. I'm your host Anisa, and in this podcast, I basically talk about all of the things that I'm passionate about and all the stuff that resonates with me, and I basically express my ideas and then I share my thoughts. So, if you're interested and you feel like it resonates with you, be sure to follow this show, and if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also sometimes have guests here. I plan on having guests sometimes. And I actually encourage them to do the same. So yeah, stay tuned as well. Alright, so today's topic is something that really resonates with me a lot. Like today, I'm going to be talking about doing a lot of things. Like having multiple interests and wanting to try all of these in just one life or one decade. Or like 1 year or something like that. Like you want to try all of these things at once. So I'm going to be talking about why you should do it and also why it could bother you in your life a little bit. And also I'm going to be sharing my experiences and what I've learned in my life so far. So each of the episodes will have a short poem or sometimes a medium-sized poem written by me. And I'm going to be trying to summarize the entire episode into just one poem. So yeah, so today's poem is called Rising to the Petals. Let's start. Life is a rose, messy, yet so sweet. Look downwards, there's thorn, but upwards, petal I see. To the petals I rise, going down paths that lies. In each path I make trace, allowing full growth and change. But then I wonder, what's the next path to chase? So paths I change. So the same place, it's making me remain. But hey, what's that spark? Light in the dark, in just one path. For now, in this one I remain. Closer I am to the goal in the end. Later, the other paths I'll chase. So yeah, this is the first ever poem. In the first ever episodes, I'm actually very excited about it. I hope you guys like it, okay? Alright, so hopefully that poem gave you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about today. So basically I'm going to be talking about my content creation journey, like how I switched to different forms of content in different timelines and how I couldn't really stick to one and be consistent in one and achieve something. So I'm going to be sharing my lessons, as well as the things that I've learned that I shouldn't have done. So yeah. So first of all, I'm going to be telling you the story. And then after the story, we're going to move on to the lessons part. Alright. So, first of all, let's start. I started creating videos when I was 11. Yeah. So right now I'm 15. I'm going to be turning 16 this year in July. So my birthday's in July 21st. And I started making videos in 2020. So yeah. And I made my first ever video. It was a how to set up a Google Nest Mini video. So I was very obsessed with tech. And there were actually a lot of things that I was obsessed with. I was obsessed with tech. And then there's dolls like every other kid would. And then I was also interested in origamis, paper origamis, like you make several stuff with folding papers. So it's kind of interesting. I'm still interested in it, but I really don't get the time to do it as much. And I could do it because of the YouTube channel. I mean, it's the same YouTube channel, by the way, that if you're on YouTube, you're probably watching this episode on the YouTube channel that I've created like 5 years ago. But yeah, so that's the YouTube channel. And actually, the video that I posted first ever wasn't the video that I made first. So the first ever video that I uploaded was how to make a face mask for dolls, actually. That got like 72 views in 1 month, and I was very happy with it for some reason. Yeah, it feels like a win. Yeah. Okay, so and then I also received my first ever copyright strike on my birthday, which I didn't understand at that moment. So yeah, so at first, like in the beginning 3 months or 4 months, I was actually very consistent with it. So my upload schedule was like every Friday one video, like one video a week basically. So it would be 4 videos a month. And I've had several niches. Like I said, I was interested in a lot of different stuff. So in that channel, I've had videos about dolls. Then I have tech, I have cooking, and then I also have different mini vlogs later on as well. and then origamis as well. So like 5 different niches in one channel. And I was making kids content at that moment because I was a child myself, yeah. But yeah, I was just interested. And I just posted a lot of different stuff. I just couldn't get myself settled into one topic, like just one niche. I still can't, to be honest. Like, I still have a lot of different interests. Like, as you know, I'm going to be transitioning into being a poetry artist. And then I have this podcast, and this is actually my 3rd podcast, by the way. We're going to be diving into that later on. But yeah, so back to my content creation. In the first 3 to 4 months, I was actually very consistent. I used to post like 1 video a week, like every week. And then I posted like a literal series, a course type of series. It was like created with Canva. Like, I learned about how to use Canva literally at 11 from YouTube, and I realized that maybe I should like share it and then teach it to other people, because I thought it was like, oh, life-changing something. And yeah, it can help a lot of people, obviously. Like, you can become a freelancer with it. You can create designs and mock-ups for different types of people. You can start a business with it. But so yeah, it's obviously important, but I thought that I learned something life-changing. So I went on to making a course, a YouTube course, basically. So yeah, and then I was actually very consistent. And later on, I actually ran out of ideas. Like, I had absolutely no idea on what type of content to make. So yeah. And sometimes I used to focus a little bit more on the branding, the personal branding, the channel branding, more than the videos sometimes. And the videos were actually like not that bad, but also not that good either. It was okay, so any person would say that it was horrible. But as it was me and it's my younger self, I wouldn't say it was horrible, but it was awful. Yeah. And I did plan properly, so I did see the effort. So yeah. And then literally in that year, I discovered podcasting. Like, I discovered what podcasting was, and I was very intrigued by the idea of having a show and being a show host. So I started my first ever podcast in December of 2020, literally. So on that podcast, so the channel was called Anisa's Creative World back then. So I named the podcast Anisa's Creative Podcast. So you can see a little bit about branding. So even though I jumped from one thing to other, literally in the same year, I basically implemented personal branding. Or even if it's not personal branding, it's just branding. So it's actually a lesson, I would say, to myself that I've learned branding at that age. So I'm happy about that. So that podcast was also a mixture of a lot of different niches. I used to focus on a lot of different topics. So I had a purpose in that podcast, to be honest. Like, if someone's like, so the theory was this: if someone was bored inside the car, like if it's a kid or a teenager or something like that, if they were bored in the car, they can just listen to it and learn something new every day from my podcast. So yeah. So at first, my first ever episode was literally how to, okay, it wasn't how to. It was, wait, let me think. Okay, so several gift ideas, literally holiday gift ideas, because it was like holiday season. It was December, obviously. So it was literally a gift idea video. Sorry, not a video. It wasn't a video podcast, by the way. It was an audio podcast. But yeah, I hosted it. And on the 4th episode, I interviewed somebody. And then my upload schedule for the podcast was also pretty tight. Like, it was 1 episode a week, again. So my schedule for content creation in 2022 was that 1 episode a week, it was on Thursday. And then 1 video a week, it was on Friday. So on Thursdays and Fridays, I was going to create content. So yeah. And it was fun, to be honest, hosting a podcast. I have achieved a lot of stuff. I interviewed 3 people, and then I was also interviewed by one of my guests as well, which was fun, actually. Like, it was my first time being interviewed. I was interviewed in 2022, but we'll come to that later as well. So yeah. So here we have 2 stuff to the equation. We have my YouTube channel and a podcast. So as the days went by, I started to become a little inconsistent with the YouTube videos, because number 1, I ran out of ideas. Number 2, studies became pressure, because literally in 2021, when the lockdown went away, because it was the COVID, obviously, there was COVID. So when the lockdown kind of went away, what happened was that the schools became open, obviously. And then the exams came out, and I wouldn't say I suck at studying, but I'm not like the most genius student ever as well. So you can make the judgment by yourself. But yeah, I couldn't do any maths at all. I was doing like horrible in studying because I was away from studying like literally a year. Like the literal 5th grade, literally, yeah. So studying became a pressure, and I struggled to really create content. I became really inconsistent, like probably one video a month or like one video every 2 months. And luckily I continued with the podcast a little bit. Like I literally posted like 1 episode a month, or like 2 episodes, like 3 episodes a month sometimes as well. So yeah. So that's how I started my Tuesday content. And then in 2021, I kind of took a year-long break. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's a year, like a 6 months long break. Yeah. It was a 6 month to a year-long break. Kind of like that. I don't remember the exact time frame, but yeah, you can say whatever. So yeah, and then I went to Japan in the year 2022. Let's move on to 2022. So in that year 2022, I started to have an identity crisis. Like I wasn't interested in dolls anymore. And also I was interested in tech, but not too much like before. Like I'm still interested in tech, but like not in an obsessive way like I was before in 2020 or 2021. So yeah. And then I also wasn't as interested in the other niches that I used to put out in my channel. And I was more interested in the studying productivity side and like those aesthetic room decors, aesthetic study sessions, and those kind of stuff. So it kind of started from 2021 actually, like the end of 2021. And yeah, so I was literally crying in the shower because of it. Yeah, it might sound dramatic, but I was literally crying in the shower because of having an identity crisis, literally. And then as the day went by, I realized that yeah, it's okay. I can change. I can let go of stuff. It's fine. So I switched to study content, literally. Yeah. So I posted like 4 study related content and 1 update video. Like after a year, a literal year. Yeah. So in that year, like 2022, I posted a study with me. I posted a video about how you can finish your syllabus in 3 days and a lot of other videos. So yeah. And then, like I said, since I was young, I focused on a little bit more. I mean, not a little bit, a lot on branding more than other stuff. Like focusing on the channel's banner, the name. Like the name changed a lot throughout the years. Like I started off with the name Anisa's World, and then I changed it to Anisa's Creative World, and then it changed to Absolutely Anisa, and now this channel is called just my name, Anisa. So yeah, and yeah, so the name kind of like evolved with my identity and my interests, to be honest. And I was really into those silent vlogs, and I never got to make one actually. I'm actually planning to make some in the future someday, and I have no idea when. I have no idea. I don't see the future right now, but I do plan on doing it actually. So yeah. And for podcasts, let's go back to podcasting again. So I actually became very inconsistent with the podcast in 2021, in the year 2021 actually. And I posted a few episodes, like 2 or 3 in 2022. But then in 2023, I completely stopped it. Like I stopped posting the episodes altogether. And right now, the podcast is on ghost mode, literally. I announced the season 2 on it, and then I just completely disappeared. Okay, so yeah, so the podcast kind of went away. And then for the YouTube channel, I was posting, and then when I was posting like 2 months straight, like one video like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. And sometimes when I'm not posting, I would take breaks for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, literally. So yeah. And then, like, why I didn't post? Let's answer that question. So So I wasn't interested in just YouTube and podcasting. I was interested in a lot of other stuff, like I said. So I was interested in language learning, and that's also another story because I shifted language a lot as well. So I started learning Spanish when I was 9, and then I stopped. I took a 3-year long break, and then I started again, and then I took another 2-year long break, and then I started again. So what did I do in those breaks? Well, from 2021, I started learning Korean. And before 2021, I used to learn Spanish. And then, so from 2021 to 2022, I was focused a little bit on Korean. And then on 2022, after I went to Japan for 3 months actually, I started to learn Japanese for staying there. And I could speak a little bit. I could still speak a little bit. I'm not conversational, but I can, do work with it. It works a little bit. I can shop here and there, so yeah. And then after Japanese, I returned to Korean again. And then I returned to Spanish again. Yes, I'm jumping from one to another. And then from that Spanish, right now I'm learning Arabic. And this time I'm actually sticking with it. I'm actually sticking with Arabic. I'm not moving to Spanish right now. Yes, that's a win. And yeah. So I was interested in all of these languages, and along with that, in 2023, I was actually very much interested in business, different types of business models. I was interested in affiliate marketing. I was interested in an small online business like Etsy business, or digital product business, sometimes service-based business as well, although that was a little bit less. I was interested in product-based business more. So yeah, and also a lot of different types of content. I was interested in blogging, write the article blogs, yeah. So I started 2 blogs, and I continued neither of them. So my first blog, 3 blogs. So the first blog was about bullet journaling, because I was really into bullet journaling back in 2021. And then my second blog was about studying, in which I posted 1 post, and then that also went away, bye-bye, because I couldn't stay consistent with it, and all of these feel like a pressure, a little bit pressure, but I never actually acknowledged it. So yeah. And then I started another blog. It was in Medium, actually medium.com, and that was also a study blog. I really went full on into personal branding stuff, but I didn't post any content on it. I could say back then that I have a blog, I have a podcast, I have a shop. Yes, I even started a business where I didn't get any sales. It was a font business because I learned in 2021 how to make fonts with your handwriting. So I created 3 to 4 fonts and I listed it in Creative Market. And actually getting accepted to Creative Market was absolutely hard. It was very, very hard. I had to change my portfolio 3 times just to get accepted. So yeah. And yeah, it was hard, but I got accepted, and then I got 0 sales. Have fun, right? Okay, so fast forward to 2022 and 3. Now I can say that I have a study productivity channel, and I also have a blog, I have a podcast, and then I can also say that I have a shop. So yeah, and also back in 2021, so I keep referring to 2021 because I did a lot of stuff in 2021, and I completely went blank in 2022. 2023, I started to rethink stuff, and I started to do stuff. I started to make the vlogs, the videos, sometimes, not always, sometimes, one or 2 videos here and there. And then in 2024, I basically went where I'm going and where I want to go. I literally realized that a little bit. And this year, I'm fully clear, alhamdulillah. Okay, so where was I? Yes, so I was in my all of these stuff. Okay, so then since I wasn't really consistent in it, I still achieved a lot of stuff. This channel has 253 subscribers. I'm grateful for all of you that subscribe to me if you're watching on YouTube. And then I have also achieved 19,000 views. All of my videos combined. I have made 100 videos. Yes, and I have privated all of my 100 videos as well, just for this rebrand on this channel if you're watching on YouTube again. And for my podcast, I got audience from 40 countries. I think that is because I distributed my podcast to all of the podcasts that's available. Like I distributed in Spotify. It was on Apple Podcasts. It was on Google Podcasts. It was on Castbox, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and then Amazon Music, and you name it. You just name it. My podcasts were basically on all of these platforms. Yeah. Okay. And then I also achieved like 900 plays. Yeah. And again, it's because I distributed my podcast to all of these platforms, not because they were actually performing well. For followers, I've had like 3 followers in Spotify. Yeah. I don't know about my other platforms because I never actually checked the analytics. And then on Apple Podcasts, I had 0 followers. But yeah, it's a win because I have interviewed 3 people. One was a public speaking coach. The second one was a chemist. And the third one is a digital parenting coach. She's from Malaysia. The first one's from Canada and the second one from America. So that's a win that I interviewed people from 3 countries. And I was also interviewed by one of my guests, is the third guest, the digital parenting coach. I actually respect her a lot, to be honest. And I respect all my guests a lot, to be honest. Yeah. Because they're very admirable. I got to learn about them a lot. So it was fun, to be honest. So to interview people and have experience with it. And then also with that, there are also a lot of skills that I've learned, like how to edit videos, what a copyright strike is. That's another funny story, which I might talk about someday in this podcast as well. And then I also learned about different branding. I learned about branding, and then about different link in bio sites, different possibilities in business, how to blog, how blogging works, how business works. Yeah, I definitely learned about business through one failed business. Yeah. Okay, and then I also learned how to start a podcast, how podcasting works, how to interview people and stuff. So yeah, so basically in my content creation, I've learned a lot. I've achieved little stuff, but I did achieve something at least. But yeah, now I'm going to be talking about my emotional state in the story, in the entire story. Like what I felt, what my thought process was, and what happened basically. So back in 2020, I was always chasing for the next idea, like for the next thing to do. I can never stay still in one topic or one work because I was absolutely interested in every single thing. That's why I started my podcast in the same year, but yeah, you get the point. Yeah. So I started my YouTube channel. I was very passionate about it, and I went on to experimenting with a lot of different topics. And because I was interested in a lot of different topics. And then with that, I also started a podcast. And then in the next year, I was interested in language learning. So I've had a lot of stuff to do, to be honest. I've had a language to learn. I've had a podcast to make. I had a YouTube channel to put videos on. And then I also had a blog. And so all of these stuff used to like give me this pressure subconsciously, but I never really like felt this pressure like in a pressurous way, I would say. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, in a pressured way. So yeah, but I like inside I felt like a little drained, like yeah, I have a lot of stuff to do. But then in 2024 I realized that maybe I'm doing a lot at once. I'm doing a lot at once, and I have to step back because some of these doesn't even resonate with me anymore. Like the blog, I'm not even interested. Like I'm still interested a little bit. Like I said, I'm always interested in a lot of these stuff. But in that blog, I was interested, but I didn't think I was interested enough to continue. Or like, yes, I'm still interested enough to continue, but like, I don't think I should continue because that's a lot of work. So I started to focus on just one YouTube channel and no podcasts, in which I didn't post either. Yeah, that's a shame. So if you're watching on YouTube again, to my subscribers, I am so sorry that you guys subscribed to me even though I posted nothing. Yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Really. But yeah. Okay, so then, I forgot one thing. So in the December of 2023, I started a Facebook page. And this one was for teaching English. It was in Bengali, my native language actually. So it was in Bengali. I posted one short and it went, I would say, viral because it got like 1K views. Oh, I forgot to mention. In my YouTube channel, so one of my achievements would be like getting 1K views, more than 1K views in 3 videos actually. Yeah. So that's a great achievement. That was like a peak in the peak time. Like once I posted a mini vlog, it was like a morning routine or something like that, and then I got my first 500 views for the first time in my life, and then I got 800 views, another doll video, and then another video I got 1K view. It was a recipe video, and then I got 1K views in 2 doll videos. It was like part 1 and part 2, but I got it. So these are the things that made me proud, and then slowly the views start to go down as well. Right now it's still at down, but it's okay. We all have ups and downs, and I'm happy to be creating. So yeah. So okay, so let's stick to what I was talking to. Yeah, I'm jumping again. Okay, so I was always getting all of these ideas on what to do. Like first, with the YouTube channel, I always had the idea of, what if I posted this series? Or then, what if I had this business model? Like, with the font business model, what I had was this. I would sell my fonts, and then with that money I get, I would do a lot of different stuff. Like I would buy books, because I was also into writing as well in 2023. Yeah, 2023 as well. So, okay, so this story was a little bit messy. Let's move to 2024. Let's fast forward to 2024. So, okay, let's start from 2023 actually, not 2024. So in 2023, I stopped posting altogether because I was too busy with exams. I was too busy with my thoughts, my mental health. So I stopped basically posting videos, and I also had no ideas. That's also one of the reasons that I was faced with in all these years. But yeah, and then on 2024, I had these ideas to post. Literally, I had all of these ideas too. I even have a list on my notes app with all these video ideas, but I didn't bother to post, to be honest. And I was focusing on other stuff. But then that year, I realized that I think I need to go consistent on one thing first. Like I'm gonna be doing a lot of things, obviously, because I only get one life, and I can try a lot of different stuff because I have the ability, right? I'm given the ability and the skills, so why not use it? Why would I keep it inside me and do nothing with it? Because I love doing it, so I actually have to do it, right? So I'm gonna be doing a lot of things. I'm gonna be a lot of different stuff, like 5 to 6 different stuff, but I'm gonna stay consistent on one thing or 2 things first. And I'll focus on just 2 to 3 things a year. And I'll keep the frequency less, like not 1 video a week. I can stick to 2 episodes per month or 2 videos per month, but I have to stay consistent. That's my point. Like that's something that I really hold myself accountable to, and I feel like I've achieved it, alhamdulillah. So basically, I started my second podcast. Yes, here comes my second podcast. So I ditched my blog, I ditched my shop, I ditched my podcast, my first podcast, because that didn't resonate with me either, with my current lifestyle, my current mindset, my current interest either. So I ditched that. I didn't ditch the YouTube channel though, but I kept it on hold, to be honest, and I started my second podcast. Yes. So this second podcast was about sharing English content, like listening content for beginner English learners, basically. So there would be a 2-minute episode, or sometimes 2-minute 30-second episode, and in that episode I would speak in slow English and in beginner English so that people can understand. So why did this podcast start? Like this second podcast start? It's because I started learning Korean again. Yes, I switched to Korean again. From Spanish again. Yes. And I struggled to find Korean content, to be honest. Like enough beginner content for beginners, to be honest. And I really struggled with it. Like I couldn't just learn 안녕하세요 and then practice it. So it was hard. So then I realized, why not do something for English? So I posted my first ever episode it was June 13th, I remember, in 2024. And then I set myself a short consistency goal. Like I would post 2 times a month, once every 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna stay consistent with it. That was the goal. And then after the first episode, I saw no growth, so I didn't post the second episode that month. But then, literally on my birthday, it was 21st July again. Sorry, a few days after my birthday. My birthday's in 21st July, and I got an email in 28th July saying it was from an analytics company. They were probably sending me promotional emails, but what they said was true. That my podcast ranked on Lebanon in 4th. So my podcast ranked 4th in Lebanon. I would like to take a moment to raise awareness for Palestine and Lebanon, because our brothers and sisters in Palestine are not doing well right now because of the bombing and all of the stuff. So please pray for them, and also the Lebanon as well, because they supported me a lot. That country supported me a lot in the podcast in the beginning, and now they're basically struggling, so I have to care for them as well. So yeah, please pray for them. Alright, so let's move on to the story. So basically, I got an email saying that I ranked number 4th in Lebanon, and then number 12th probably in Kuwait. Yeah, for some reason I was ranking in the Arab countries, which is interesting, which was fun, amazing, wonderful. But yeah, it was kind of shocking, to be honest, that I never really thought that I would reach that place, like that area of the world. It was really amazing, to be honest. And then I checked the analytics on my podcast, and I found out that I got like 100 plays, and I felt good for some reason. Like, wow, people are waiting for me, and I didn't even post. And I was like so worried about the podcast. I immediately posted the second episode, and then it just kept growing, because from that day, literally, from 28th of July, I stayed consistent, like so much that I produced 15 episodes, yes, and my plays and my listener count started to skyrocket a little bit. Like literally every day, my listener count was increasing, and then later on, my listener count went to 900, and then the engaged listener count became 600. And all these all of these like plays were coming from Apple Podcasts, actually. And I got 100 followers, and then 200 followers, then 300 followers, and currently I'm on 546 followers. So yeah, I stayed consistent with it, and I'm happy about it, alhamdulillah. But then last year, again, on 2024, literally, I had to take a break. I had to miss 2 uploads because of my exams, obviously, and it was an important one because there's another story to it, why it's an important one. We'll talk about that later on the podcast as well, but not now. So I had to take a break, literally. Like I missed 2 episodes. I actually announced it that I'm going on a break. Like this time it's not a ghost mode anymore. Like previously on my YouTube channel and on my podcast, like my first ever podcast, I used to like literally go on ghost mode. Like I was supposed to post like 1 episode a week, and then later I changed the schedule to be 1 episode a month. So I was supposed to post like 1 a month or 1 a week, but I would come back like every 3 months or every year or something like that. And I literally went away unannounced. And same goes for the YouTube channel as well. So this time I didn't go unannounced. I literally made an announcement. I posted a bonus episode. It was like a 30-second episode probably, but I talk about my break. And yeah, I went away. And then after I came back from the break, the episode got little plays. Like it didn't get like a lot of plays, like 500 to 400 plays like before. But I got maybe 100 plays if I were lucky, and it didn't feel good, to be honest. Like seeing their minus red number was so hard, to be honest. And I felt so awful. Like, why are they going away? Why the hell are they going away? And I was actually scaling this podcast into a business. So this wasn't just the podcast. I actually built a brand into it as well. So the brand was called Echo. I will link it down in the episode notes if you want to check out, like see what I did back then. So I mean, it's not back then, literally a recent thing, but you can still check out if you like all the things that I mentioned. So, yeah. And then I was like devastated. I also had a lot of different ideas for this as well. And then later on I realized like, yeah, it's okay. It's being taken away. And it's fine, to be honest. And also like lately, literally this month, I realized that this podcast no longer resonates with me. Like, I'm still passionate about helping people with their English, but also it doesn't resonate with me because the people are going away. Like, as the days go by, the listener count is decreasing. Like right now, even though I'm still at 546 followers, my listener count is at 490, literally, yes. And it's not that good, yeah. But it's okay. So basically, I recorded and uploaded my last episode for this podcast, and I announced that it's the last episode. And I said my final goodbyes to my listeners. So yeah, it was fun running a podcast, running a brand, being a CEO for a few months. Like, okay, let me count it. June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Okay, so it was fun being a CEO for 9 months. It was actually really fun, to be honest. But yeah, I have to leave it because it doesn't resonate with me. But I'm still passionate about it. So I mentioned in the podcast that if they like need more content, so then they can comment on YouTube, the podcast YouTube channel. Then I can just make one project for them if they want. But yeah, it won't be a permanent, consistent thing anyway. But yeah, the win is I didn't left it unannounced. I didn't left this place unannounced. So yeah, today was the ending of Echo, and this is my third podcast. This is the new beginning. So let me talk about my vision. So number one, I'm transitioning into being a podcast host again. This is my third podcast. And then I'm also wanting to be a poetry artist as well. It's another complicated thing. I'm going to be talking about that later in the episode as well. But yeah, you got the idea how I went from jumping from one thing to another and how I started to stick to one thing. And now, this year, I'm going to be focusing on just these two stuff. My poetry artist gig and this podcast. That's it. Because I want to hold myself accountable and I want to keep it slow, but I'm going to be consistent at it. I'm actually still learning how to be consistent, to be honest. And I'm still figuring out, but I got a lot of lessons along the way. So now we're going to be moving on to the lessons. Alright, so for the lessons, I'm going to be starting with why you should actually try out a lot of different stuff. So number one reason is that it gives you work experience, which is crucial for your future. Like if you're a teenager like me, or if you're in your 20s, like in university, it would actually help you a lot to gain work experience. Like you could say, like with all these activities that I'm doing, I can proudly say that I have experience in content creation, I have experience in hosting, in communication, like speaking, and then I can say that I can edit videos. Okay, that's to my skill set, but let's not go to that. I have experience writing blogs. So I have experience writing, and then I can also say that I have experience with short form video creation and different forms of video creation, different formats of content. Like I experimented with a lot of different content formats. Like not only in this channel, I also experimented with 3 other channels as well. Yeah. So I also deleted all of it because later on it didn't resonate with me. So in the 3 other channels, in the first one I posted like skin tips, yeah, and skincare tips, and then other tips like aesthetic tips and those things like that. And on the second channel I used to post short study tip content, and then like it was very short, like in a 3-second video I would post like a few study tips in the comments. It's actually a very popular format right now, but yeah. And then on the third channel I started to post poetry, but then I deleted the channel as well to transition into being a poetry artist on this channel. So yeah, so I have experience. And then number 2, you can have skill set. Like you can have a set of skills. Like right now I have video editing, I have Canva designing, I have writing, I have hosting, speaking, like public speaking, or like not public speaking, like speaking in general, to be honest, communication. And then I can also say that I have my skills in website designing, like not in a UI UX design Figma way, but I can create a website in like different platforms, and I can make a business system work. So yeah, that's some of the skills that I have learned. And then I have also learned cinematography through this YouTube journey, to be honest. Like, I discovered filmmaking like last year, literally through a competition. Yeah, and I got a certificate for it. Like, it wasn't like a winning certificate because they didn't judge the films, but I did get a certificate of participation. But yeah, okay. And the third reason of why you should still do it, like you should still do, like at least try some of these things that you are interested in it, is because that it'll give you joy. It will turn your life into being vibrant. You'll have colors in your life, and you will feel the peace and the joy that you need to feel, or else you will feel bland. Like right now, I cannot imagine my life without at least one extracurricular activity, or else it would be so empty or bland that my life would feel so boring. Yeah, okay. And also, number 4, trying out all these things gives you stories to tell. Like, you can be interesting, and you could be someone with charisma. Like, you can have a lot of stories on your end to tell, to share, to provide value, to share your experiences and help others in the same journey, on the same path. So you could be someone knowledgeable, experienced. So yeah, and also the stories you tell will be amazingly interesting. Like, literally right now, I have 3 different stories of my content creation journey that I'm going to be diving into later as well in the podcast. But yeah, those are some interesting stories. These are basically a different type of mishaps. Like, once someone distributed my podcast in their name, like in their account, literally, and then once again, some YouTube had to take my channel down because they thought that I was violating the community guidelines when I wasn't. And then the copyright strike thingy, like I said, my first ever copyright strike. So I'm going to be talking about that later on as well. And then, yeah, so all these moments. And then, and then I was interviewed once by one of my guests, which is also an honor, to be honest. Like, you get to achieve stuff, you get to make stories, you get to make your life vibrant. So why not do it? Try it anyways. What do you have to lose? Okay, so now let's move on to why you shouldn't jump from one task to another before completing something. So, number 1, if you don't complete something, you will not get the full experience. Yeah, you will still get the experience, but never the full experience of what it's like to be something, like to be that you're aspiring to be. Like, for example, if you're interested in like writing a book, like I was writing a novel literally like last year or in 2023 as well. I was writing a novel. I wrote 3 to 4 chapters, and then I left it, moved on to another novel. Then I moved on to another novel. And then after that, I started another story. And then I started another story. Like, I jumped from one story to another, and I couldn't finish any of it. Yes, because I kept having all these ideas. So, the moment you have ideas, I wouldn't say that you should dismiss it, but I also wouldn't say to ignore it. Write it down on your notes app or whatever you feel like best. Write it down and then let it go. Stick to what you're doing, or else you won't get the full experience. You won't get the success that you want to achieve. Like, if you're learning how to paint, you will never learn painting fully if you switch to singing, like literally in the halfway of learning how to paint. And then if you like have 5 activities at once, your brain will get tangled in all these activities, and you'll feel like, which one do I do first? Which one do I do first? Like, studying, trying out blogs, and then podcasting, and then YouTube channel, all these 4 stuff, and then add a business to it as well. Like 5 things. Can you imagine? It would feel so draining on the inside, but I never really felt like it was draining. Like, I never acknowledged it to be draining. I just felt this little entangled ball inside my neck. Like, what do I do? Which one do I do? And I'm not gonna do it. So that made me procrastinate. So yeah, that's why you shouldn't give yourself the pressure. Give yourself the grace that you deserve, okay? Do not try out a lot of things at once. You do not need to do a lot of things like right now. Like, yes, do a lot of stuff. Live your life, because if you don't do a lot of stuff, I definitely encourage it. If you do not do a lot of stuff, you will not live life to the fullest. Obviously, you have to do a lot of stuff if you want. But give yourself the grace it deserves and slow down. Focus on just 2 or 3 things at a time. Like every year, 1 year, 2 things. Or 1 year, 1 thing. 1 thing, okay? That's it. And then stay consistent with it. Grow it. Learn skills for it. And stick with it, okay? Okay, so as the first episode, I would say that this episode was quite messy. Like, this episode was totally unscripted, to be honest. I just wrote a few bullet points, like literally this morning. Yeah, no, not this morning, this afternoon. So it was like totally unscripted with a little bit bullet points. I don't even have those points written down like in front of me right now. So it was a little bit messy, but I hope you don't mind, yeah? So for this section, I'm going to be summarizing the entire episode. So first of all, I used to move from one idea to another. I used to jump around my ideas, and I could achieve basically nothing, but I also achieved something in a sense, and I'm very grateful for it, to be honest. Alhamdulillah. Like, I'm also grateful to all of these guests that gave me a chance, that agreed to like come in my podcast and be like appear in my podcast and support me, and then also interview me, and then like appreciate me. I'm very like happy and grateful about it. I'm also happy for all of you guys if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you again for subscribing to my channel and staying subscribed and not going away. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so, and I'm also like very happy about the followers that I literally left today in Echo. So I'm grateful for all the stuff that I've achieved so far, even if it's little, but I'm still happy about it, to be honest. Like all the things that I've learned over the years. But yeah, I used to jump around from one thing to the other. So with that, I gained experience, I gained skills, I gained different stories. I gained a lot. I gained the vibrant life that I want. I learned what I want to have. I learned about my interests. I learned about myself a lot. So that's a win. But then, since I wasn't consistent, I also felt drained, and I again achieved nothing. Like not nothing, little bit, but yeah, like nothing in worldly terms. But I think I achieved a little bit, like not a little bit, like this much, at least this much, Yeah, okay. So yeah. So for the lessons, I would like to say that you should try stuff so that you can add some colors into your life, and you should still do a lot of stuff so that you can add a lot of like the vibrant stuff into your life. But stay patient, stay calm. You do not need to do like a lot of different stuff at once. You do not need to try out 6 to 7 different stuff right now. You don't have to do it like this year. Stick to 2 stuff, but do it properly. But do not forget the other goals. Never forget the other goals. Do it, but the next year is always here for doing it, okay? Alright, so with that, our episode is ending. Thank you so much for sticking around. This is actually my first time recording like a 50-minute type of episode. Like, it's a long episode, to be honest. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to save this podcast or follow this podcast if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you. Bye.